I'll get the boring stuff out of the way.
Okay, we're recording.
Okay, good morning. For the record, I'm Chris Young, Chair of the HDC Sign Advisory Committee. Let's confirm access. Members, please respond with an aye when I call your name. Paul Wolf.
Here.
Kevin Kuster.
Here.
Mark Catone.
Here.
And staff, Kathy Flynn.
Present.
Okay, this open meeting of the SAC is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12, 2020. That order allows public bodies to convene remotely so long as public access to deliberations is reasonably provided. This meeting is convening via Zoom with video and audio recording, and we're being broadcast via YouTube on the town's YouTube channel. This meeting will feature public comment. Materials provided to members for the meeting or provided during the meeting are available on the town's website. During the meeting, I'll introduce agenda topics and speakers. Please remember to mute your Zoom audio until your name is called, and let's direct comments and questions through the chair to avoid crosstalk and make taking of minutes easier. Votes will be conducted by roll call. Let's move on to the meeting. So we'll call the meeting to order at 9:01 on May 4th, 2021. And do we have an adoption of our agenda?
So moved.
Thanks, Kevin. Anybody want to second that?
Second.
Thank you, Paul. And Mark, are you in favor?
Aye.
And Kevin
Aye.
and Paul
Aye.
and I, we have an agenda. Let's review or approval of minutes from 4/27.
Motion to approve.
Anybody want to second that?
Second.
Thanks, Mark. Paul, are you in favor?
Aye.
And Kevin
Aye.
and Mark?
Aye.
All right, thank you. Kathy, I see sign here is on the line.
Yeah.
Are they the only applicants that are in the room so far?
It appears so.
All right. For sake of expediency, should we jump? Let's jump to 15 Washington Street and review that sign so that sign here can be a part of that. Sherry, is that you on the line?
Hi, this is Caitlin from Sign Here.
Oh, Caitlin. Hi, Caitlin. What do you have for 15 Washington Street?
This is going to be a new sign for Handlebar Cafe. They're changing their logo and also the shape of their sign. Their old sign was a 2-foot by 4-foot rectangle. They're looking to do a 26 diameter circle. They're also changing the colors from black and white to blue and white. It's like a cream blue. And it's in the same location as the old sign.
Okay. Is there any other signage being proposed for this location?
No, they used to have a sign over the front door there, but they took it down because they're changing their logo. So.
Okay. Let me go down. Paul, do you have any comments?
No comment.
Kevin?
I have no concerns with this sign. However, there's continually a lot of miscellaneous signage around this property all the time. Freestanding stuff. There's a bicycle sign. So I think as long as the applicant is aware that those are all violations, I'm fine.
Okay. And Caitlin, this is new ownership, correct?
Yes,
The
we're submitting
handlebars.
for Yulia is her name. She's the new manager.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And yeah, I believe that Jason Bridges sold this business, so it would be a good time to tell the new ownership what
Okay.
Kevin just said. Mark, do you have any comments?
No, I like it.
Okay.
No comments.
Yeah, I agree. So do we have a motion
So move.
to approve? Okay. Paul's motions to approve. Anybody seconding?
Second.
Thanks, Mark. Kevin, are you in favor?
Yes, aye.
Okay, and Mark
Aye.
And Paul,
Aye.
and I am as well. Okay,
Thank
all
you.
right, thanks, Caitlin. That's the only thing you're on the line for, correct?
So we would also be representing Pollux Giovanna, if that's all right. She's not on the line, and we will be doing her sign.
Okay, let's jump over to NIR 18A Federal. Has there been any revisions to the last
Yes.
application?
I think when they originally submitted, they were looking to use the old sign that they had, but the old sign has been deemed too big for the new space because it's a smaller bracket situation. So
Okay.
they decided to make it smaller and then also update the colors of their logo. So the new sign will be double-sided 28 by 15, which will fit the brackets. It's still going to be carved, but it's going to be white and beige instead of green and gold or green and white. So.
Okay. Kevin, do you have any comments?
No, I think my only concern is if that beige is a little light, it may be hard for people to read, but it's hard to tell from a screen shoving up the color. But I think the sign itself is laid out fine.
Okay, great. Mark?
Yeah, no concern, I guess.
All right, thanks. Paul?
No comments.
Great. I also think it's a nice application, and I'm glad that they reviewed the size, so that fits much more appropriately. Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Move to approve.
Motion approved. Okay, thank you. Mark, do you want to second that?
Second.
Same. All right, so that was motion by Paul. Kevin, do you have, are you in favor?
1 second here.
Okay.
Aye.
All right, and Mark
Aye.
and Paul.
Aye.
Okay, and I am as well. Great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Caitlin. All right. Let's go
Mr.
back up
Chair.
number one. Yes.
I believe Tori's here. Oh, there's a George too. I don't know who George is representing. George, would
That's-
you, oh, you know who
That looks
that
like
is?
Dalton.
Hey, hi
Oh,
guys.
Oh, I didn't see the video.
yeah.
Hi, Dalton. Sorry.
Yeah. Hey,
I'll
how
go
are
back
you?
to number one. I apologize.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So Dalton, we're gonna go to number one on the agenda, 9 Petticoat Row.
Yep.
Dalton, introduce us to this application. So, Dalton, you have the floor. What would you like to tell us?
Okay,
What are you applying for?
So this is, I'm just trying to get a sign approved for my tenant. There it is.
Okay. How does this compare? Let's just start with the basics. This building has a master sign plan for all of the projecting signs and wall signs.
Well, we remember we tried to get there and yeah, we never like got it done.
Okay. I know we've always tried to maintain a consistent size of these walls or projecting signs.
Yeah,
The wall
so-
signs obviously
yeah,
have
so
to fit
there's-
the armatures.
Yep. So it's basically the same size as the signs that are along this building.
Okay.
Someone
let's see, go to that one.
and a local person's gonna make it. So imagine
Okay.
know what to do.
Okay. Do you know the size of the armature that's how long that bracket is?
I do. Let me see. It is. It is 37 inches.
The bracket is.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let me go down the board here. We'll start with Mark.
So am I correct in that this is similar, excuse me, to what was there previously? size wise? Is it consistent?
Before, I think it was Crane and Lion.
Is that white? Yeah, I remember the sign. So, I mean, it's 8 inches by 30, if I've read that correctly. Is that, yeah, 8 by 30, I'm seeing it here. I feel like,
No, that's not right.
oh, is that what it says on the screen though, right?
Yeah, I don't know why it says they can't 8 inches only.
18.
18 by 30.
I think it's
That
18.
that seems
Yeah,
more.
18.
Got it.
18.
Okay.
Yeah, the one got cut off.
Okay. I don't know that I have any concerns at this time.
Okay. Paul?
Can we scroll up to the picture of the sign? Thank you. I'm a little concerned that these colors aren't appropriate. This is an historic building in the old historic district. I don't think these colors are in the guideline. So I would think
Yeah,
red and green, but pink and faded green, I don't think it'll.
do we have a color chip, Kathy? Was anything submitted as far as what that pink and
No, he just
the green
has,
look like?
he actually just has the number. I don't know, that's maybe the manufacturer number, Dalton, right? 7732C.
I think it's honestly, it's gonna be kind of depending on the piece.
There was no color swatch.
Dalton, do you-
Yeah, I mean, she just gave me those numbers.
Okay. I'm just looking to see if that's a Ben Moore color or if that's a
It looks like it's a
Pantone. color.
Pantone.
That is a
Pantone.
that's a Pantone color.
Yeah.
And it looks hard to tell on my screen, but it looks about the same color as the well, I don't know what, it's like a Lily Pulitzer pink. It's fairly bright. So Paul, did you have any other, you're just worried about the colors?
Apparently the colors, yes.
Okay. Kevin, do you have any concerns?
Yeah, I actually, I don't think the font is appropriate either. I think it's a little too whimsical and there's really nothing historic about it at all. It seems to be a logo. It's got a trademark on it. If that's the case, it would need to come down in size. I agree with Paul's comment on the color. I'm also curious as to what's going on the wall sign. I don't see anything for that. Anyway, those are my, and I don't think it would be appropriate at all to add lights on here. There's too many signs on this building to start sprinkling lights. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay. Let's see, are there lights on the application?
I've put lights, but there are no lights now. So, I mean, if you're concerned
Okay.
about lights, I mean, it seems a little strange to not have your sign lit up.
Well, it's got to be something that's approved. I mean, not every sign is lit, and the lighting armature would have to get applied for specifically. But as far as the font and the color scheme, I also worry a little bit about that font and the color scheme. So, would you want to have the applicant consider making either a 50, reducing the size of the logo, if this is what they're going to say it is, or readdressing sort of the font and color scheme to mute it and bring it into more traditional style?
I mean, so I can. So I don't know. So what do you want me to tell her?
Well, if it's I think the colors being bright is a concern. That's easy to mute. I mean, you could still maintain it. Doesn't have to be red necessarily, but I think that it shouldn't be we should get a color chip of exactly what color she's proposing rather than just the pink 213, but it looks like that's a pretty bright pink. So that would be something worth muting per the guidelines. And then I think that the concern about the font is that if it's going to be this, a font like this could represent 15% of the size of the sign. If she wants to figure out a way to make that incorporated into the design, that would meet the guidelines.
So make the font smaller.
Yeah, let me go back to Kevin. Kevin, you raised the concern on the font. Am I speaking for you correctly there? Really?
Yeah, I mean, if they want to use this as a logo, the whole thing would need to come down to no more than 15% of the sign. And then they would have to adjust the colors accordingly. However, I don't think that's the best solution for this building. I think it should have a more traditional font, and not all signs are what people's logos are. So I don't know if I'm answering the question or not, but I
get you. Let me just go down to get with this thought in mind, go back up to Mark. Mark, do you have thoughts or concerns about the font?
Yeah, it's a whimsical sign. That building has had sort of a variety of signage. I mean, it's certainly not super traditional. It's certainly less conservative, but it's not. I couldn't say it's modern either. I think we certainly have had a history of sort of quote unquote fun signs, if you will. This seems to be playful, maybe is a better description. So I don't know that I have the concerns the others do. Is the red is a little bright. I'd like to see it muted. The green is a fairly dark green, actually. It's not terribly bright. The background could go a linen to soften the contrast. There are some options there, but graphically, I have fewer concerns with the design as presented. Thank you.
All right.
Chris,
yeah,
if I could, I think if I remember right, the signs along this building are primarily somewhat subdued. The photograph shows we can only just see one, but I think that NPT has a relatively simple sign. I'm wondering if on this building and this location, if we did the color scheme just in like a black and gold or something that ties in more with the rest of the building, maybe that's a way to let them move forward in a way that might work. I think a black gold scheme it certainly goes better with the real estate business. It looks like it would fit better with the lingerie. Anyway, I think the signs in town, especially near Main Street, would be better in black and gold, and it would be a way to maybe keep the sign on this building. Just a thought.
Okay. Good. Paul, do you have any other comments?
No, other than we should remove the TM symbol for the trademark.
Yeah. So, Dalton, do you think you can go back to your tenant and see if there's a way to mute this application down and bring it into a more approvable design? Which, I mean, we have a few avenues here, is I guess hold for revisions, or make a motion on this application.
Yeah, I mean, I can go back to her. And so basically you just want me to tell her, tone down the pink and make the font a little more blocky? Or
That's certainly an option if you were to, not saying exactly, or not trying to design your sign for you. Kevin is suggesting that if the color scheme were more traditional, black and gold, then perhaps this design could be utilized. So it wouldn't be a combination of bright colors and funky design. Certainly going back and making changes to the font and the colors would also give us something new to review. So
okay.
I
And
think
when
it's
he's
sort of a
black and
Yeah.
gold, so the sign would be black and the lettering would be gold.
presumably that would be the way that it would be
And-
done traditionally. Yeah.
And the dress would be gold too.
Kevin, how do you feel about, are you
I
thinking two-tone?
don't know that. I guess it could be that could probably be a different color of some sort. You'd have to sort of look at it, but I think if you look at the way that the Ladybird lingerie introduced color, it's fairly simple. I think it just needs a little bit. It just needs to be reworked a little bit. But maybe the thing to do is to have the tenant, look at the tape or join the next meeting or something if she doesn't quite understand.
Okay. And I think Paul's point is important, that the trademark logo, that little TM would have to be removed, Dalton. That's pretty simple, but those just aren't appropriate on the signs to begin with. So we'll make a motion to hold for revisions, it sounds like, is the pleasure of the board.
So moved.
Second.
All right. Mark, are you in favor?
Aye.
And Paul?
Aye.
Kevin? Okay, I am as well. So Dalton, hopefully you have enough info to go back and talk to your tenant.
Yeah.
And if there's going to be a wall sign,
Yeah.
just a sidebar, this is a projecting sign. If you want to also put a wall sign in the placard, if you want to call it that, by the door, submit an application for that as well.
Is finished on that side.
Does that make sense, Dalton?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I think if you have pillows.
When is the next
you have
meeting?
that,
Is it
I
next
think
week?
That whole elevation.
Next Tuesday.
Will be much more
And you can talk to Kathy about the submission deadline for making that meeting.
And then it's open.
Yeah, if you can just get it into me as soon as possible. I'll
Okay.
put you on the agenda. That's the most important thing, and then get me the information so I can put it online for the
Yep.
Right.
Okay.
All right,
reviewed. Thanks.
great. So
All right.
my job.
Okay.
this week, I'll just
Thanks,
spend the next
Dalton.
couple days,
You guys.
spend some time researching
Thanks.
options.
All right.
that's something seriously that we looked at,
Tori, I
so
see you're on the
I'll put
line.
together
You're
all of those,
representing
and then I can,
Freedom Square?
the links to, to
Excuse me,
options.
Mr.
Okay.
Chair, there's some background noise from someone's got like a TV on or something. Okay, that's better.
Okay, great. Go ahead, Tori. What do you got for us?
Hey guys, so I'm representing Island Insurance Agency. She rents, there's some photographs of the signs in this area. I do not have a master sign plan, but I did take pictures of all the signs that are in this specific area. So she has represented a first choice and a second choice. Her office is this front picture right here. Sorry. In this picture right here, her first choice would be to put it over those bottom right two windows on the first floor. It's measures about 9 feet long and 1 foot high. And her office is that corner, basically, those two windows, and then the big picture window in front on the left would be her second choice. But we thought this would be a better location so it didn't compete with Tate's sign above the door. And then also it faces Pleasant, is that Pleasant or Sparks Avenue, the traffic pattern, which she would prefer. And the light raft preserver is just to simply show you, this is just a blow up. That's not a separate sign. That's to show you the detail, the colors, and the font in the rectangular sign.
Okay. Let me start with Mark.
Do you mind coming back to me, Chris?
Sure. Paul?
Chris, I'm going to have to excuse myself from this conversation because I'm on the
Okay.
board of the Condominium Association, which
Understood.
has not seen this or been asked about it.
Okay. Okay. Kevin?
I think the style of the sign as a wall sign at that scale is it's not appropriate on the first choice because it's not near a door or an entrance. I understand there's a couple of other buildings around there that have that, but they also are the only tenant basically in those buildings. An example would be the Office Supply and Egan Institute. In this case, it looks like perhaps this is the first time this entrance is being divided in with another tenant. My suggestion would be that there be a projecting sign on the front of the building, perhaps close to the door, or else on the corner, so that they can get the visibility from both sides. And I think it would work well as a projecting sign with just the Lifesaver version. It says the same thing as the sign. Anyway, that would be my suggestion. I think the sign needs to go on the front, and it needs to be a projecting or a smaller sign.
Okay. Yeah, so I had sort of the same thoughts in that it's like a pure sign is so large, it basically takes up the entire sign space for that elevation. So I don't think that putting a second wall sign like the number 2 choice represents would be appropriate. If the owner wanted to make a smaller Nantucket pure sign and put it over the other window, that could change sort of the dynamic, and that would be a new master sign plan layout for the building. But with the way that it's signed right now, I don't think number 2 is an option. And I'm not sure going around the corner is the most appropriate location either. So I like the projecting sign idea is a great idea. I think it gives you visibility. It identifies the way to the entrance, and it would give double visibility coming both directions through the parking lot. So I would suggest considering that. Mark, you asked for us to skip. Do you want to make any comments at this time?
Yeah, I agree with the comments to date or so far. Thanks.
Okay. So Tori, I think putting the sign not on the entrance is probably not an option. That was poorly worded. Option 1 is not really the ideal option. Option 2 isn't ideal because of the existing Nantucket Pier sign. Whether Tate wanted to make another sign, and create a new master sign plan, that's an option.
Okay.
Or as Kevin pointed out, making a projecting sign could be a good solution.
Okay.
Now, there's a projecting armature for Nantucket Pier. Is that not being used anymore?
Is there? Is it at the door there?
There's an armature.
Oh, yeah,
I think
I see
there
it.
used to be but I don't.
Is that a light or is that a armature? Okay.
I don't
think you might
believe
be
it's
right.
being used, but
Okay.
in any event, that's.
So, question, if I may, would that armature location be okay with her sign underneath the pier sign, or should that armature move to the left of the door, maybe?
I think it should probably move. Otherwise, it'd be a little confusing to have those 2 signs basically on top of each other. Almost like over to where the number 2 is. And for my opinion, I think that putting it closer to the corner board would at least help space those two signs out a little bit.
Oh, over on the
so
corner. Okay, got it. Yep.
That's my thought. Kevin, is that what you were thinking, or does that work with what
Yeah.
you had in mind?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Mark, do you have any other input on that?
I agree with all that. Thank you.
Okay.
Motion to hold for revisions.
Okay.
Second.
Mark, you
Chris,
want a
if I
second?
may,
Okay.
Chris, I
Yes,
just
go
have one
ahead, Terry,
question.
before we vote.
Are you guys comfortable with the font and the colors?
The colors, we don't have a color chip, do we? They look fairly
No, but I can,
subdued.
I can get that.
That would be helpful, just so we know it's not a fire engine red or something that we're not expecting, but
Yeah, it's more like a burgundy.
that, okay. Yeah, that colors would be helpful, and then just give us an idea of how if this is the shape of the projecting sign, is it going to be, carved in relief? Is this rope going to be floating rope? Is it, just give us some detail on the how that sign would actually be framed.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
What sort of a border
Right.
there might be, or if there's an edge band or a frame or whatever.
Right. So it's being held for revision, or we have a motion to hold for revisions. Kevin, are you in favor?
Aye.
And Mark?
Aye.
And I am as well. So, okay.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Dory.
Thank you.
All right. We have David Cox representing 58 Main Street.
I don't think he's here, Mr. Chair.
So, yeah, nobody else is in the room. Let's look at that
I was gonna say, I think you were kind of drawn to that for the other one, so I was trying to.
application anyway. So this is relocating, projecting, and wall signs.
Yeah, it's my understanding that he's, this is the business and he's moving this over here. And then he also has another wall sign, sorry, projecting sign that he's moving from here over to here. So just to give you and those, he included the previous approval from 2012.
Okay.
You know what, the projecting sign, my bad. I labeled them wrong. I need to grab the right one.
So the wall sign is fairly straightforward. It's just moving from one window to the other window and the projecting sign is
a little bit smaller in scale.
going from the center of the door to the corner.
Yeah, so this is
Okay,
a
yeah.
wall sign. So it's going from over here to over here. And then this is, I don't believe it's being changed in any size. 12 by 96. This is the old, yeah, so I don't think that's being changed. It's just being physically moved.
Okay. And let's look at the projecting sign too, just so we kind of see these two in the same, at the same time.
So it's
Okay.
It's from here to over to the corner.
That's curious to me. All right, let's go. Mark, do you have any thoughts?
I don't think I have any concerns as presented.
All right, Paul
No concerns.
and Kevin.
The only question I have is this has to do with the projecting sign. It's a little vague as to exactly how this is going to mount. It looks like the armature is quite long and goes underneath that trim. I'm just not sure how that's gonna, if they're gonna reuse the old bracket, how that's gonna fit on that corner, if it's gonna stick out too far. I just think it's missing some detailed information about how this gets mounted. Anyway, that's my
Yeah,
question.
I was
would agree
thinking the
with
same
that. I
thing.
would agree with that. Yeah. I think Kevin raises a good point. We should probably see what the armature is. I think this is a unique armature because it looks like it supports itself under the recess where the door is located. If it's going to be
Yeah.
located really on the flat near that rain leader to the left, then I think we'd be looking at a more traditional, typical black armature. And maybe they can provide a photo of that, because I don't think this one works over there. I agree.
Yeah. I also question lighting this sign. It's the secondary sign. The lights are a little heavy-handed, and it's a pretty well lit, visible corner. I'm not sure it needs to be lit. That's all.
Okay. Yeah, and I was also concerned because they're not exactly showing the direction of the armature. I was curious if their intention was to come off the side of the corner, so it was perpendicular to Orange Street, to sort of gain more visibility. I wasn't clear on that. So why don't we make a motion for the wall sign so we can get that cleared up, and then we'll deal with the projecting sign.
Move approval.
Thanks, Paul. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thanks, Kevin. Mark, you in favor?
Aye.
And Paul
Aye.
and Kevin? Kevin's an aye.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I.
And I am as well. All right. So
We're having alarm issues here. They keep going off on us.
gotcha. That's alarming.
Ask them who you use it
So-
for.
It's alarming.
So now we have the projecting sign. Do we want to hold for representation on that? Or hold for revision so that we can have a armature discussion?
Yeah, I think it's hold for further information.
Okay. Do we have a second on that?
Second.
Thanks, Paul. Mark, you in favor? Mark,
Yes.
Mark, you're muted.
are you in favor of holding
Aye.
for revisions?
Yeah.
Okay, Paul
Aye.
and Kevin.
Aye.
All right, thanks, guys. All right, so now we're up to the Plymouth Sign Company. Did they revise their applications?
He did not get a chance to send them to me, so hold for representation.
So should we hold? Yeah, let's hold for representation. Anybody want a motion for that? That'll be blanket 7 through 15.
So move.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Thanks, Kevin. Mark, you in favor?
Yes, aye.
All right, and Paul,
Aye.
Kevin,
Aye.
and I am as well. Okay. That clears up all of our applications. Kathy, do you want to talk about enforcement at all?
So I emailed, or sorry, not emailed, I sent a letter to the homeowner, I think at 101 Orange Street. Paul had sent me there's a freestanding sign in front of someone's house right next to Cumberland Farms. Paul, do you remember that?
I think it's
Remember?
next to Cumberland Farms.
Yeah, so the homeowner
Yeah.
called me.
Bulkhead signs.
She called me and did not first of all approve of someone putting that in her yard, and was sending her caretaker to remove it.
So the two islands were.
Okay,
And that's
Great.
it for now.
all right. Anybody else on the board want to discuss enforcement? No. How about the sign guideline update discussion?
No
Hold that
updates
for
from
another
me.
day.
Yeah.
Okay,
Big agenda.
let's hold that.
I did want to mention one thing before you all adjourn. I did reach out to Tobias from Act Now and explain to him that if the intent was for them to put any signs up around the island to respect the 30-day sign guideline, they weren't planning on doing that anyway, but just so you know, I did reach out to them.
Okay. Great, thanks. Anything about our letter to the Builders Association to discuss? No. And would we like to meet again next Tuesday at 9 a.m.?
Lovely.
All right. Do we want to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you. We'll give, everybody's in. All right. Mark, you're in favor?
Aye.
Kevin? Paul?
Aye.
And I am as well. Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you all.
Thanks, guys.
Have a
Thank
great
you.
week. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.